Welcome to Beyond Hindsight, where looking back helps us think forward. This is a space for reflection, perspective, and lived experience. A place where personal stories, current events, and past moments are examined for the deeper lessons they carry about life, leadership, culture, and identity. If you have a story, a perspective, or a topic you believe deserves to be explored, or if you're interested in being part of a conversation, you can reach me at beyondhindsight.media@gmail.com. I appreciate all of your submissions. For now, though, let us begin with today's topic. As the whole notion behind the concept of this podcast suggests and affirms, I'm a firm believer in the concept of learning from the past, be it on a personal, communal, or even national level, in order to grow from the lessons it contains. Nothing teaches you the failings of your actions and reasoning better than to fall flat on your face as a result of their implementation. In the same manner, achieving success reaffirms previously held beliefs and chosen courses of actions. For both eventualities, the same concept applies. Experiences ought to be seen for what they are: falsifications as well as verifications of previously held notions and beliefs. If this crucial step of the evaluation of one's working theories is skipped, one risks being caught in the same flawed state of mind perpetually. One does not singularly apply to human individuals, however, as previously stated. Whole peoples and nations can and should apply the aforementioned concept conscientiously. If they don't, they may risk breeding a society of people that does not or cannot draw lessons from their own shared past. This brings me to today's case. My home country is Switzerland. Many people do not know that Switzerland has a shady history when it comes to colonialism as well as the Second World War. Not even the locals. Why is that, one may ask? The answer is as straightforward as it is concerning. Both of these integral parts of our history are neither taught in school curricula nor are they publicly discussed. Swiss culture in general is one which is averse to opening up about mistakes or insecurities. These circumstances exemplify this perfectly. The disregard for looking back, analyzing one's past, and learning from the lessons it provides permeates Swiss society. How are we supposed to open up about our own flaws if the whole nation systematically covers up the darkest aspects of its modern history? This leading question guides today's discussion. In order to achieve this, I would like to introduce how I came to learn about our Swiss past, what it taught me, and how my peers react to it. It was during my studies at the universities of Bern and Basel that I was first confronted with said historical facts. It had never occurred to me that Switzerland might have played a role in colonialism because we obviously both lack both the resources and the maritime as well as martial might to conquer or colonialize anyone or anything. I never even thought that Swiss merchants could most definitely both fund colonial operations and turn a tidy profit from them. It was during a lecture on whiteness in Switzerland from a literary perspective that I came across writings of Swiss authors and merchants during the colonial period. Not only did these writings underline the racist perceptions of African peoples that were held at the time, but also did they summarize and categorize which acts of exploitation were committed by Swiss nationals. As well as funding countless expeditions, Swiss merchants were crucial in the exploitations of countless tribes and areas, especially in Africa, for their resources and goods. This was highlighted during my master's program, in which I learned about the Volksschau in Basel, an exhibition of peoples, literally, which was held multiple times between 1897 and 1935. During said exhibitions, members of numerous tribes across the world were shipped to Switzerland like cargo in order to put them on display in the zoo. This serves as the culmination of Swiss exploitation of colonialized people. Not only did we profit from their lands and goods through unfair trade agreements, but we also used colonized individuals as props to satiate our desire for the foreign and displaced wanderlust. Our past is both exploitative from a material as well as a corporal perspective. This part of our history is completely whitewashed from our history books, apart from specialized courses at university. How come, though? And what is the purpose of this? This specific issue has deep roots in Swiss culture and society. We are primed from childhood to distance ourselves from anything that may reflect badly upon us. I would go as far as to claim that we actively dissociate our past misdeeds as a people in order to uphold the image of Switzerland that has carefully been crafted since World War II. We are not perceived as the Alpine people, farmers that provide nothing border crossing and agriculture. Nowadays, both global players and Swiss identity itself perceives our country as a stakeholder in the world economic order and a pristine stalwart of democracy and neutrality. Addressing the Swiss past of its colonial ties and its exploitation of colonized people openly or in education actively threatens this purported image of the Swiss nation and its history. That the accumulation of our current wealth was accelerated by our trade agreements with the Third Reich and the storage of goods and valuables of the Nazis just serves as another example of the whitewashing of our history that is practiced extensively. It has become part of our culture to hide from the painful facts and acts of history which have shaped our nation in its current state. Unfortunately, this permeates all the way down to the individual level of our citizens too. We as a people have been individually conditioned through our parents, peers, and education that looking back at one's past with its inevitable ups and downs is frowned upon and cause for shame. The mantra is, highlight the good, but dissociate or hide the bad. A painful outcome which opens the door to the reoccurrence of the exact same behavior or consequence that one aims to hide from. A catch-22. This can be perfectly illustrated and exemplified by the way my Swiss peers and immediate surroundings react to my interest in visiting the sites of crucial, yet somber, events of our Western history. Be it my journey to the B-29 superfortress Enola Gay, the plane which deployed the first nuclear weapon in human history in Hiroshima, or my exploration of the mangrove forest in the Mekong Delta, which had been raised by the widespread application of Agent Orange and napalm during the Vietnam War. The most widespread reactions by my Swiss friends and family were disgust, apprehension, and confusion. How could one want to confront the hideous but all the more history-shaping aspects of our Western past for individual growth? From my perspective, this is quite easy to answer, as the whole premise of my platform here suggests. One needs to look back, confront the past, reflect, and engage with the search for meaning, lessons, or closure within this sometimes grueling process. Seldom is my perception of the world, its order, and the bigger picture more been questions than when I stood in front of the sights of the Vietnam War as a 23-year-old, or when I gasped in awe of the Enola Gay at age 29. Both of these episodes were crucial in my development and understanding of the world and human nature. Naturally, I do not encourage each and every one to travel far as well as spend substantial amounts of money to experience this. Sites like these that can trigger said processes are present in every country, all over the world. Why, you may ask? Because every nation and every community on earth has their own dark past, which more often than not remains unaddressed. Even in the village I grew up in, it used to be a common practice to rely on indentured child labor, for example. But again, it is neither addressed nor taught within the community. I would like to contrast the common response by my Swiss environment with the feedback I receive from my international friends and family. My American, Turkish, and Venezuelan friends, to list but a few culture backgrounds, acted in the exact opposite way to the Swiss. All of them directly encouraged my purposeful travels in order to confront history. Sometimes they went as far as accompanying me or joining me by ways of video calls. Their interest is grounded in the same interest as mine, the confrontation of history in order to tackle the past and learn from it. One commonality between them all of these cultures practice a very open engagement with their own past in wars and exploitation, both as victims as well as perpetrators. Naturally, some of these countries and cultures have obscured and tarnished their engagement with their individual past for the purpose of propaganda, and nonetheless leads to a certain openness of their citizens or members to openly address, discuss, and interact with the past of their in-groups. This is the very trait which Swiss people too often lack. Now, what does this boil down to? The lack of public and open accountability of the Swiss nation and society in regard to its own shady and less than pristine past has had a long-lasting and pervasive effect on its native citizens and culture. Instead of addressing past acts, the focus is applied to saving face and the maintenance of the immaculate image that has been crafted over decades or even hundreds of years. In consequence, we have become a people which is negligent in regards to its own personal histories. It is not commonly practiced to look back at history in order to learn from it despite the huge informational value it contains. This also manifests in the aversion of confronting even the dark pasts of other countries and cultures. It appears as if digging too deeply into the histories of others could trigger the long-suppressed or dissociated feeling of guilt and shame regarding our own past. Through the constant engagement with this tendency on the academic, professional, and most importantly, the personal level, I sincerely hope that I can do my part to sensitize my surroundings pertaining to the immense wealth of knowledge which lies buried below the depths of history. This episode lays the foundational brickwork for many of the issues we will address in future iterations. The method of tackling the past or analyzing events in order to gather information, find meaning, and conceptualize future ways to improve is the core concept of this show, after all. be it cultural, national, familial, or individual history. It all carries countless lessons that deserve to be unearthed and studied. We will continue to embark on this journey together. Thank you for spending this time with me. If these reflections resonate with you, you're welcome to subscribe and join me for future conversations. Until next time, think carefully, look deeply, and go beyond hindsight.